Hi, this lesson is about rhetoric and being persuasive. So first, persuasion is a fact of life, a given in any environment. When people communicate, they often intend to influence the attitudes, outlooks, and actions of others. That is persuasion. The communication process by which messages are sent and received is the context for understanding persuasion. For example, this coach is trying to influence the actions of the ref regarding a call. Think of all the times in a day that you either try to influence someone else's attitude, outlook, or actions, or when someone or something tries to influence yours. Ever seen an advertisement? Persuasion. Followed a street sign telling you how to drive? Persuasion. Tried to get your friend to take a bite of a new food? Persuasion. Asked your teacher to let you change the assignment a little bit? Persuasion. What is rhetoric? Rhetoric is the art of persuasion. It is the effort on the part of the speaker or writer to take full advantage of the communication process in order to bring about a change of thinking or acting on the part of the listener or reader. Rhetoric may be reflected in the efforts of the speaker to communicate some aspects of a self-image, some emphasis or line of reasoning in the message or argument, or some appeal to the rational or emotional response of the audience. So rhetoric uses those three things. An aspect of who the speaker is. You want to establish yourself and make yourself be liked by the person listening to you. The content is that you can use logical reasoning, emotions, or both. It depends on your audience. And the style, how you use your words, which also depends on your audience. So, just think, you are trying to persuade your mother to let you stay out late. There are lots of ways you can go around making your argument. Those choices that you make are based upon you as a speaker, the content of your argument, and your audience. You are going to change your argument dependent on many things. For example, how your relationship with your mom is currently going, how late you want to stay out that night, what you are going to be doing when you go out, how early you are asking for this change in curfew, etc. So the first thing that you're going to think about with rhetoric is the image of the speaker, which another word for that is credibility. When you are making an argument, the first part of your rhetoric is to make yourself seem positive to your audience. The speaker may attempt to reflect a variety of images of self in order to gain a positive image from the audience. There are many possible categories, and all depend on who your audience is. You wouldn't want to seem well-educated to someone who has a dislike for higher education, for example. Some possible categories may be well-educated, sincere, simple/plain folks, well-organized, a concerned citizen or patriotic, common sense, humorous, and altruistic, which means generous. The next thing of rhetoric that you need to think about is your line of reasoning. This has to do with the actual content of your message. You can choose two options here: logical, which is fact-based, or emotional, which is emotion-based. As humans, we may respond quickly to emotionally based arguments. However, arguments based solely on emotional reasoning do not hold up and are torn down easily. Well-written arguments need logic as their base. If you argue that someone should change their behavior just because they like you, that isn't as effective as showing them that the change in the behavior will affect them positively. Still more effective is showing them that the change in behavior will affect them positively and that they like you, so they should listen to you. The last thing that you're going to think about with rhetoric is the style of argument. So this is in addition to the content of the message and the credibility of the speaker. The reader responds to the various ways that the message is styled, and you have to think about this to elicit a range of responses that you want from your audience. Some of the stylization results from the ways that language is manipulated in order to attract a reader's attention. Some common stylistic techniques are asking a lot of questions, figures of speech like simile and metaphor, allusion, which means talking about something that everyone knows about, using different kinds of sentences, including parallel structure sentences, repetition of words, and striking imagery. The first main thing that we're going to be looking at in this lesson in regards to style is parallelism. Parallelism is having similar sentence structure to bring focus to your argument. For example, which sentence sounds better? Jeff walks, talks, and eats, or Jeff is walking, then he talked, then he ate. It's the first sentence. It is parallel. In the sentence, I ran to the grocery store, the hair salon, and the clothes boutique, you bring attention to the fact that every place is a specific place by having parallel structure, by having an adjective in front of your noun. Writers and speakers use parallelism to bring emphasis to a part of their content they feel is important. The next aspect of style is charged words. Charged words are words that have emotions connected to them. For example, instead of just saying walk, what if you said that Jimmy sauntered to the principal's office? Saunter has a more emotional connotation of lazy and slow, so you might therefore think that Jimmy is lazy and slow, and that he doesn't care about getting to the office on time. Well, that Jimmy sure is a troublemaker. However, if we say that Jimmy strides to the office, we have a different impression. Stride means quickly and with purpose. We might think now that Jimmy isn't afraid of the principal, and is in fact looking forward to showing him that Jimmy had no fault in the incident at all. Charged words can add to an argument. For example, if you use negatively charged words throughout an argument dealing with a certain content, the reader or listener might start to associate that certain content with a negative feeling. The same thing can happen if you use positively charged words with your content. The next aspect of style that we want to focus on is repetition. Repetition is saying the same thing over and over and over and over. This can be used to draw attention and to emphasize a certain point or idea that the author finds important to the argument. It helps make something stick in the audience's mind. In this lesson, you will be reading nonfiction that was written to persuade people to support the American Revolution. While reading, pay attention to the rhetoric in each text, including how the author establishes credibility, if the content of the argument uses logic, emotion, or both, and the style of the argument.